Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Okay, walaikum salam, Mr. Kimi.
Uh, okay. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, thank you for making time for this interview. So, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Zubair Sulaiman. I was born in South Africa, originally from Cape Town. I currently reside in Qatar, where I work for the government as a quantity surveyor.
I see. Okay, thank you. So, right now I'm going to introduce myself, and my name is Muhammad Muiz Hakimi, and I'm from Malaysia, and currently I'm studying in uh, uh, Mara Professional College in Perak, in Malaysia. So, the the main motive of our interview today is how English came to your country actually. So
Okay.
are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. So how has the English language spread and developed in your country over time, Mr. Zubey?
So, our, my country, South Africa, is predominantly English speaking. Although the country has got 9 national languages, English is the main language. The original language of South Africa was not English. If we talk about, let's say, in the early 1900s, if I remember the history, um, the main language was the language of the Khoisan, and Khoisan was the original people, the indigenous people of South Africa, namely Cape Town. And the way the language came in was through the British. So if you look at the history, the British is the country that colonized South Africa about in the early 1900s, and they controlled South Africa, and they brought settlers from the UK, from Britain, to come and settle. And this is how the language spread. That's the main reason and main factors that influenced how the English language first came to South Africa.
I see. And then for the next question is what role does English play in education, business, or daily communication in your country?
So English is, like I said, English is the main language. The everything is done in English. English is the first language. It's the language that we study in. It's the language that we learn in. It's the language we communicate in for business. So English is a very, very important part of South African heritage and the day-to-day South African doings. So the first language is English. The second language, which I'm not sure you're familiar with, it's called Afrikaans. So basically, also going back in history, it's when the Dutch colonized South Africa. They brought Dutch missionaries, and this is how we formed the language called Afrikaans. So that's the second language. The third language you'll get to is the African language, which is called Xhosa and Zulu, Tswana. So those are part of the official 9 official languages. But English is the number one means of communication.
I see, I see. So for the next question, you often use English to interact with people from other countries. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, 100%. So that's
Uh,
our means of communication, primary
I
means
see.
of communication.
And yeah, how important is it as a common language, English?
Very, very important. I think from my side, not just in South Africa, in the world. I'm currently now in Qatar, and Qatar is the main language spoken here as well to communicate. I mean, even the Qatari, which speaks predominantly English. So the benefit for me knowing English from my home country is priceless because I'm able to use it. I mean, we're speaking in English now. When you Malay, you speak Malay. I'm South African. I speak Afrikaans, which is you don't understand. But importantly, we can communicate in English.
I see. Yeah, that's true. Okay, and then for the next question is, what are some challenges you face when you use English to communicate with non-native speakers?
Yeah, it is quite difficult for non-native speakers. The main, and I don't know if this even, I mean, if this even means anything, but The difference is there's you can speak English, but you can have a different accent as well. So the
Yes.
difficulty which I found that my accent is not easily understood because I'm South African and I say things, I pronounce things in a different way. Even Malaysian. I mean, I have lots of Malaysian colleagues. So the way that the Malaysian will pronounce something and the way that I will pronounce, I think that it's a big challenge, you know?
Yeah, that's right. We do have some mixing words too in English.
Yes.
So yeah, and then for the next question is in South Africa, English is spoken in different ways depending on a person's background and education. How would you describe your own way of speaking English? Do you think it's influenced by South Africans pronunciation?
Definitely, 100%. Like I said in my previous comment, the way we pronounce things is way different. Like for instance, at the where I am in the Middle East now, I have to pronounce my ways in a way my words in a way that they would understand. So, and like I said, as my previous answer, it's challenging. It's challenging. I have to change it, to where I am in the world.
I see. Okay, thank you, Mr. Zube. And then for the next question is English has many sounds that don't exist in South Africa. Were there any particular words that were difficult for you to learn?
No, I mean I grew up with English as my first language, so there are no difficult words at all. No.
I see. So, can you share some words uh, that you say the Afrikaans word, the Afrikaans language? Can you share some uh, el- one or two example of words?
So in Afrikaans language, which is my second language, the Afrikaans language, if we let me give you a word that you would know. So in what the influence is from a Malaysian perspective, the word pisang means banana.
Yeah.
The word
Oh, yes.
pisang in Afrikaans, it's pisang. Banana is pisang in Afrikaans. Did you know that?
Oh no, I don't really know that actually.
That is how close the language is. So the Malaysian influenced a lot as well. Malaysian influence has a lot to do with specifically Cape Town, where many words, Malay words, has been used also in the Afrikaans language. So pisang is one of it. Pisang means banana.
Yeah.
So pisang in Afrikaans, pisang is an Afrikaans word, and the translation of it is banana. That's one. Another word in Afrikaans, I would say, is something called klein. Klein means small. So
Oh,
I
I
don't know.
see.
Don't it's not similar in Malaysia, but klein is similar to Dutch and similar to German. So klein will be
I
small in German, and klein will be small in Dutch as well.
I see. Wow, that's very interesting.
If you Google, you will check Klein and Klein. That's just a different way of pronouncing it, but the meaning is the same.
I see. That's very interesting knowledge
Mm.
for me. And then for the last question is in South Africa, English is used in school, workplace, and daily life in different ways. Where do you usually speak English, and do you adjust your way of speaking depending on the situation?
So we speak English in I mean in the workplace I speak English. At the schools we speak English. In our homes we would speak Afrikaans and English. The old generation, like my grandmother, I would speak Afrikaans too, because she was not English speaking. She was mainly Afrikaans speaking. So I would speak to her. But in the workplace, I have to admit, I had to change my English to be more prim and proper. You know what I mean? More
Yeah,
formal instead of being
yeah.
slang. So that's
Yep.
where I would change the English up when I'm in a work setting, work environment or professional environment.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all for the question that I want to ask you for the
Nope.
interview. I really appreciate you much. So thank you so much, Mr. Zube, for spending
Nope.
time
Okay.
with this.
Take care,
Uh,
brother. Okay.
uh,
Okay. See you then. Bye bye.
okay, bye.